Hello, and welcome to my presentation on how to prepare for IBM Spectrum Protect and IBM Spectrum Protect Plus certification exams. My name is Cydnee White. I've been with IBM for 20 years, developing training and participating in certification workshops. Why get certified, you might ask? Well, here are some of the benefits. It's a validation of your skills, which is going to give you a competitive edge. For example, say you're a technical seller. Having certifications ensures your customers that you have the skills they require. Or maybe you're a storage administrator. A certification can help advance your career goals. Bragging rights. I have 3 topics in this presentation. First, how certification exams are developed. Secondly, resources to help you prepare. And third, tips for preparing and taking the certification exams. First, we're going to look at how certification exams are developed. The process we use for IBM Spectrum Protect and IBM Spectrum Protect Plus certification is we use teams of subject matter experts to develop the exams. When an exam is updated for a new release, we start the process over from the beginning, the job task analysis. In the job task analysis, we're going to identify job tasks for the exam's target audience. Job tasks are then mapped to test objectives. After the job task analysis, we take a blueprint survey. This is going to rank the frequency of each task and determine how many questions to write per objective. In item writing workshop, which is next, we create questions to address the objectives from the job task analysis. We write enough questions for 4 versions of the exam. After item writing, subject matter experts review each question for accuracy. This is the technical review. Finally, there's the Angoff scoring. Here, subject matter experts analyze all questions and rate the difficulty. This is how we set a passing grade for the exam. Now let's look at the job task analysis in more detail. The first step of the job task analysis workshop is to define the persona of the target audience. This is the person that will be taking the exam. In our example on this slide, which is from the IBM Certified Deployment Professional IBM Spectrum Protect version 8.1.0 job description, we have defined the individual as someone who performs planning, solution verification, installation, configuration, administration, problem determination, customization, product upgrade, product demonstration, and documentation of the environment. Next, we define the objectives for each task grouping. So we have section 1 is planning, 2 installation, 3 configuration, 4 administration, and 5 problem determination. Finally, we're going to list subtasks, the individual tasks that make up the overall task. In our example here, we have a task 3.3, so we know it's in the configuration section. And the test objective is define client schedules. The subtasks we list identify nodes which can group operations at one time, determine which scheduling mode is used, polling, server prompted, any, define schedules according to policy domain, scheduled actions, scheduled start time, associate nodes to schedule, configure and start client schedulers, and use the Operations Center wizard to create a client schedule. The subtasks are what item writers use to develop exam questions. In the next 4 slides, I'm going to review the exam objectives for the IBM Spectrum Protect version 816 implementation exam. Remember, we have 5 sections: planning, installation, configuration, administration, and problem determination. In section 1, planning, you'll notice we have 5 objectives. Now, these 5 objectives will then have their subtasks associated with them for the questions. There won't be as many questions on planning as there is, say, installation, configuration, or administration, because it is performed less frequently. Section 2, installation. Our objectives cover all of the tasks necessary for implementing an IBM Spectrum Protect environment. Section 3, configuration. This is something that you're definitely going to do at the time of installation, but some you need to do more frequently. For example, set up policies. As you get new requirements, you might need to set up new policies. Same with client schedules. So these aren't necessarily one-time tasks. Section 4, administration, is usually the section with the most objectives. There will be multiple questions on most of these objectives. This is your day-to-day operations. And finally, section 5, problem determination. Again, this is very important, but not as frequent as, say, administration or configuration. And here's an example of a job task analysis result for a single objective. This is task 411, meaning it's in the administrative section. It's establish, include, exclude lists. The 9 subtasks listed below are used to write the questions. So it's a drill down to the overall objective. If you're going to establish an include-exclude list, you need to determine the need of excludes and includes for different objects based on the service level agreement. Which objects need to be encrypted or compressed? Do any of them need special management classes? What file systems will be used for memory-efficient backup algorithms? File space, logical volumes that need to be backed up as an image. And then define the include-exclude rules in a file. Define option incl-excl in the dsm.opt or dsm.syst file. And define an include-exclude set with and without the force option. The blueprint survey, which is done after the job task analysis but before item writing, is used to determine the frequency of different tasks. For example, task 3.3, define client schedules. This is something that might be done a little more frequently. So there are going to be multiple test questions on each form of the test. The task 4.11, establish include-exclude lists. This is going to be used less frequently, so you might just have one question on each form of the test. The job task analysis results and the blueprint survey lead to item writing. Here we map questions to the tasks and the objectives. We do not try to trick or confuse you, only test your knowledge. Here's an example of test objective, establish include-exclude lists. This is a question that is on our sample test, but questions very like this will be on the exams that you take. There are always 3 incorrect answers. Which 3 rules are used to process include-exclude statements in the dsm.opt file? Choose 3. The correct answers are B, C, and F. We will never have an all of the above or a none of the above. After 4 banks of questions are written, they're reviewed in the technical review workshop. Here, subject matter experts review all of the questions and answers to ensure accuracy, fairness, relevance, and making sure the questions map to the objectives. And finally, we have Angoff scoring. This workshop scores the test questions on the level of difficulty. This is used to determine what an overall passing score for the exam should be. There'll be 2 exam question banks, plus sample exam and assessment exam. In this section, we're going to look at the resources we have to help you prepare for the exam. With IBM, we develop certification exams for a variety of job roles and 3 different levels of difficulty: entry, intermediate, and advanced. For entry, we have specialist, associate, operator, and administrator. For the intermediate level of difficulty, deployment professional, solution advisor, application developer, solution designer, and systems expert. Then for the advanced, we have advanced deployment professional, enterprise developer, and advanced technical expert. Usually with the advanced certifications, multiple exams are required. For IBM Spectrum Protect and IBM Spectrum Protect Plus, we do not have exams for every job role. All our exams do have sample exams in a downloadable PDF, a study guide with references for each objective in a downloadable PDF, and the option to take an assessment exam. To find the available certification exams, go to the IBM Certify page. Click Take an Exam and type in the search parameters. ibm.com/certify. Let's click Take an Exam. For searching exams, I'm typing Spectrum Protect, and you'll notice it brought 4 different exams. Let's look at them. First, we have the Spectrum Protect Plus Implementation Exam, Spectrum Protect Implementation, Spectrum Protect Technical Specialist, and Spectrum Protect Administration. Here's the page for this specific exam. You have a list of objectives. These are the objectives we use to help write the exam. We also have a tab called Exam Preparation. Here's where you're going to find the sample test and a study guide. You can also find them on the sidebar here, but let's look at the sample test. And here we have a test. It's not as long, it's fewer questions than an actual certification, but it gives you a sample of questions in all the different groups. So you can look at that. You can also download the study guide, which shows you all of the objectives, and you can click on them and go right to the tasks and subtasks. We saw the sample exam, which was the PDF document, but let's look into assessment exams. These are online exams you will take through our certification partner, Pearson VUE. On the Pearson VUE site, you can find a test center and view the exams and then set up your exam. You can do the assessment exam and your certification exams with Pearson VUE. Now let's explore the IBM Certification Information Center page. To access the Information Center, you can click Information Center in the navigation bar, or you can click the Information Center tile. Some of this we've already explored, such as exam preparation, and we've looked at exam registration, but let's look at some of the frequently asked questions. Here's one we just answered: the difference between a sample exam and an assessment exam. Another way to help you develop the skills you need for a certification is training. Let's go to the IBM Skills Gateway. From the IBM.com homepage, select Services, Training and Skills, and Find Learning. You can also search by the name of the course if you know it. Now here you can search for the name of a course, or let's go see the Skills Gateway. On the IBM Skills Gateway page, we have Find Learning, Take a Class, Track My Learning, Start a Learning Journey, and Get a Badge. Let's go to Take a Class. Here we're going to search for IBM Spectrum Protect. This will bring up IBM Spectrum Protect and IBM Spectrum Protect Plus training. The introduction to IBM Spectrum Protect is an overview, a very high-level overview in 4 hours. There's no cost and it is self-paced. It's a really good starting point for somebody that needs to start their learning journey for IBM Spectrum Protect. Next, I want to highlight the IBM Spectrum Protect Implementation and Administration class. This is going to be updated probably about once a year to newer versions. But if you look for IBM Spectrum Protect Implementation and Administration, this class should come up. This is a 40-hour or 5-day class. It's instructor-led, either in a classroom or online. It is all of the basic information you need to go from installing to managing an IBM Spectrum Protect environment. Here we have the IBM Spectrum Protect Plus Quick Start. This is a very high-level overview, a 4-hour self-paced, no-cost training. We do have classroom training for IBM Spectrum Protect Plus, the Implementation and Administration class. Again, this should be updated periodically with different releases. And finally, we have the IBM Spectrum Protect Advanced Administration Tuning and Troubleshooting. This is the second part after implementation and administration for Spectrum Protect. This goes into some of the more advanced features. We're using 2 servers, so you can do server-to-server communication and replication and storage pool protection. It also covers tuning and troubleshooting. 5-day course, either instructor-led in a classroom or online. Another good resource is YouTube. We have 3 YouTube channels that have videos that would be appropriate. The TSM Evangelist, Sean Sperry, and IBM Storage. Let's look at TSM Evangelist. Teammate Tricia has on her page a lot of the new feature videos, as well as some in-depth videos. Let's look at her playlists. Cybersecurity with the Spectrum Protect family, Spectrum Protect Plus getting started, what's new, Spectrum Protect Plus in the cloud. So you can just cruise around on these different videos and get quite a lot of information. Teammate Sean also has a lot of videos. Let's look at his playlists. Here's one list that is all of his Spectrum Protect Plus videos. Copy data management, using Spectrum Protect to protect Microsoft SQL, virtual environments with VMware. You can see there are a lot of topics here. And finally, let's look at the IBM storage page. This is higher level. This is all of the IBM storage videos. For playlists, you can go to the IBM Spectrum Storage. These are done by other professionals with IBM, not just our team, and go into all different topics that have to deal with IBM Spectrum. The final resource I'm going to talk about is you. You need to have hands-on experience. Taking the training classes alone will not ensure you pass. We suggest if you're going to do the training path with the implementation and administration class first, then you have at least 6 months hands-on experience before taking advanced administration, tuning, and troubleshooting. Review the exam objectives and get familiar with how to perform these tasks. And review the product documentation in the IBM Knowledge Center. And for our final section of this presentation, we're going to look at tips for preparing and taking the certification exams. These are some of our best practices. Tips for preparing. Now, we've discussed a lot of these in details, but let's go over them again. Study the online sample exam. Be familiar with the objectives in the exam and ensure that you understand how to perform these tasks. The questions are designed to pass candidates who are qualified. This is with the IBM skill level competency of 3.5 out of 5, so that's a mid-range. The pass-fail is determined with the Angoff scoring. Be able to perform the tasks listed in the objectives on the certification page. Here's an example of the objectives for the IBM Spectrum Protect Plus 10.1.1 implementation exam. This is the administration section. Each exam is going to have different objectives in their sections. So you'll notice these are not like what we have in IBM Spectrum Protect. And always use the IBM Knowledge Center to review product documentation. Tips for taking the exam. The test answers are in a random order. There is no hidden pattern. The exam is not designed to trick you. There are no almost correct answers. When you go through the exam, answer all you know, then revisit the questions you're not sure of. And finally, follow your instincts. Second-guessing answers often leads to changing a correct answer. So use the certification page to review objectives for the test. Use documentation to augment that. Take training if you need to. Visit our YouTube channels and relax. Take the test and become certified. Thank you.